Welcome back. Well, there's Pochettino at the end of a 7-2 hammering at the hands of Bayern Munich in London. Daniel Levy, a very interested spectator in what has happened at that club tonight and also over the last couple of months. We began the evening wondering, Didi Hamann, and saying, well, look, are Tottenham, are they in turmoil? I'll ask you the same question now. Are they in turmoil after that?
Well, I think they answered the question, or they answered the statement we made at the start of the programme. I've very rarely seen a team of that standard fall apart as they did in the second half. And if I'm correct here, I think there were 9 players who played in the Champions League final. The Champions League final is October now, so we're looking 4 or 5 months back.
Yeah.
This is a completely different team. Everything that made Spurs into a Champions League finalist was missing. They did okay for the first 45 minutes. But there's no excuse for what happened in the second half. I know they had to chase the game, and after the 5th goal, with a penalty, they got a half chance to get back in the game. The 5th game ended it. You can't concede another two goals. Somebody has to take command. Somebody has to take ownership, responsibility, and say, you know, this is it. Now we pass the ball at the back, but we don't get hit on the counter-attack no more. And to concede 7 goals at home in a Champions League game as a Champions League finalist is pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, but Lisa, it's the first time Tottenham have conceded 7 goals at home in any major competition. Like, all sorts of records have been smashed tonight, and we were looking, and Tottenham fans were looking for a reaction from this team after a problematic summer. The comments from the manager. What happened out on the field? Like, Didi talks about the leaders. Like, where are they?
We didn't see them there tonight. I mean, they played with a diamond 4 in midfield, and you'd be expecting them to dominate the middle of the park. But they actually, you know, against a 3, they were weak in there. There was no protection for the back 4. There was no hunger to go and win the ball back. The possession was given up cheaply. And I mean, if like, this is Champions League standard, you have to have a hunger and an appetite to go and win the ball. And like Didi said, like, we saw them pressing in the first half quite well, but the second half, like, the goal, Lewandowski's goal just before half-time was a killer blow for them. But you still expect a reaction. And the reaction in the second half was a capitulation.
They had worse killer blows in the Champions League campaign last season.
Yeah.
You know, they came back from situations where they were dead and buried. And they always found a way to come back. And that the character, that togetherness, you know, it seems to be missing. We touched on it before with the 4 players being out of contract, manager, we don't know what's happening. This doesn't look a settled or a united team, and, you know, I really do worry for them.
Yeah, OK. Let's get into the action from the second half, because we've a run of goals here. And Lisa, you're going to take the first one. OK, Bayern were leading 2-1 at half-time. Lewandowski had got that brilliant late goal at the end of the first half. 53 minutes. This guy used to play for Arsenal, Gnabry.
Yeah, but like, we talked at half-time about the potential overloads on that side. And here you saw Pavard and Gnabry completely overloading Aurier on that side. He'd no protection. Gnabry gets in and he just drives at him. But if you look at Alderweireld, he just keeps backing off, and opens up the pitch. He's wrong side, he has to turn inside. And Gnabry's not even looking. He knows exactly where he's going. It's a great finish, but again, we talked, like, you could see the problem on the wings, because when you've the 2 up front and the diamond in the middle, there's nobody coming back to track the fullbacks when they come to overload. And you certainly weren't getting that work rate from Sissoko and from Dombele, the 2 players on the wide sides of the diamond. And that was symptomatic of what we highlighted at half-time. OK, Richie, 2 minutes later, Gnabry is in again, but we're going to see a succession of mistakes from Harry Winks here in the lead up to the 4th Bayern goal. There
were so many issues with this second half performance. You can talk about the changes that Pochettino made, and he made attacking changes, but this Harry Winks on the ball, like, he was, you know what type of player he is. He likes to get it, look around him, keep the ball moving. Technically he's decent, but he just needs awareness, and on this occasion tonight he didn't have it. On a couple of occasions, this is another one, just loose balls in tight areas, that putting himself and his teammates under undue pressure. This is stuff that Bayern Munich were doing in the first half that Tottenham got their goal from. Winks again, he could have turned out there, he didn't, he took the safe option. Now he looks to turn around, but he's no awareness around him. Tolisso pounces. This is exactly how Tottenham got their opening goal, and Gnabry scores. There was There was just a litany of errors. They didn't press collectively. They were losing possession. They didn't seem to have an awareness. And it felt like an overreach from Pochettino at the weekend to claim that it was a sign that they were together and they'd character because they beat Southampton at home. I know they had 10 men, but it was Southampton at home. I saw the game and Southampton weren't up to much at all. And tonight, if they thought they had a big job in their hands beforehand, Daniel Levy and himself, it's a monumental task now to restore whatever was in that dressing room before that we've touched on. The togetherness, the spirit, the stuff that got them out of so many difficult holes last season. It's just vanished.
Like, on the evidence of that, would you say he's lost them?
Well, I wonder what like in that dressing room now. I wonder what's the scene. Are they all sitting there saying, you know, okay, lads, we've had a bad night. We've a game at the weekend. We can recover. Or are they all digging each other out? And in the next 48 hours, are they going to be onto their agent saying, okay, well, listen, forget about contract talks, I'm out of here at the end? What's Pochettino's view on it? What's Levy's response to it?
They certainly lost something, because this is the first time I've seen them torn apart as they were. And he was never short of praising his players. He always defended them. He always stood in front of them. Now, it'll be interesting to see what he says, because there's no defending tonight. Let's have a look, Didi, at I suppose it was a lifeline at the time, the second Tottenham goal to bring them back to 4-2, the Kane pen. That probably shouldn't have been. I think 9 out of 10 times this is given as a high foot. He's showing his studs. In European football, in the Champions League, this is usually 9 out of 10 times this is given against Danny Rose. Here they got the call, maybe because they were trailing 4-1. Great penalty by Harry Kane. Neuer goes the right way, puts it in, and you thought after 60 minutes, 4-2, you thought if they get one more, Munich had to make a couple of changes shortly afterwards with Boateng coming off injured. You thought there might be a chance to come back, but it wasn't to be. And we're going to look at the final 3 goals together. Gnabry, who, as George said, had never scored in Europe before, gets 4. There's a quote here from Tony Pulis in 2015 when he was the West Brom manager. Gnabry was on loan from Arsenal at West Brom, and Pulis said he wasn't up to the standard of playing for West Brom. I don't know what's happened to this lad in the 4 years in the interim, because he's grabbed all the headlines all over Europe tonight. Yeah, well, that statement hasn't aged particularly well tonight, and this goal, his hat-trick, comes from a superb ball over the top from Thiago. He spots the space, and it's a fantastic first touch from him.
This goal here, I mean, is a wonderful finish from Lewandowski. The really top quality, just passes the ball into the corner. But you go back a couple of moments, Alderweireld was who carelessly lost possession, and he just didn't respond. Yeah, it was a masterclass in finishing. I think all the 7 finishes were just exquisite. They are, some of them are chances. I wouldn't say they're clear-cut chances, but they just the way they finished. And this was something they were lacking in the early part of the season, where they missed numerous chances. Tonight they made up for it. And Bayern now as contenders, like, I know Tottenham were a mess and you have to take that into account, but Bayern, Coutinho's really purring, Lewandowski, Gnabry. No, that was impressive tonight, and what impressed me most, because they had problems defending leads in the early parts of the season. Today they played the perfect second half, and I think they are contenders, and it doesn't matter how poor Spurs was, you still have to put 7 past them. Okay.